So what I want to show you today is how to stop selling to poor people. And before we get into that, my name is Daniel Fazio. I'm the co-founder of Client Ascension and ListKit. We're probably going to do about $550,000 this month. And this is for if you're running an agency, any kind of B2B business, and you want to start making significantly more money. And the first step to doing that is to stop selling to poor people, because poor people don't have money to pay you higher prices. Now, there's a couple components associated with this. Like, for instance, have you ever found that pretty much 20% of your clients get 80% of the results? And now you might be under the impression that if 80% of your clients are only getting 20% of the results, you might falsely think inside of your head that I'm not really good at this. Let's say you're running an ad agency or you're running like a lead gen agency, you do cold email for clients, and 80% of them are just getting either lackluster or no results at all. But there's just 20% of clients who get really good results. Like, you have 10 clients, 2 of them are absolutely killing it, 8 of them are doing absolutely terrible. So this might lead you to the impression that you're really bad at what you do. Now, the problem with this is that hits your confidence. It makes you less confident in yourself. It makes you scareder to close more clients or just be more forceful in how you approach your business, right? But I want to let you know that a very significant portion of the time, the reason why you can't get certain clients any results is because the client is running a shitty business in the first place. So basically, it's just impossible to get them results at all. And this really screwed with me when I was a beginner, because like, you're not really proficient at what you're doing yet. So it's confusing to know, like, am I just not good, or does this client just run a really bad business? So you can't really determine what exactly is the problem here. Well, it's about half the time the client runs a shitty business. And the best way to determine whether this is the case is to actually find out the revenue of the business. So I see this a lot. And the first thing that you need to start implementing inside of your business is a Typeform filtering mechanism. So I used to run my business with just a Calendly link. Like, I'd have my landing page, there'd be my video. If I have any case studies on the page, there it is. And I'd have the Calendly. And now the problem with this is you'd start taking all of the calls from everyone. So like, you're wasting time by talking to people who are not qualified to work with you in the first place. So let me give you an example. I have this one funnel right now where if someone comes in and they select that their revenue is less than $3,000 per month, and they say that they can't do the starting fee, they aren't even shown the Calendly at all. They don't even see it. They're just okay. We took the application, and if we determine that we want to work with you later on, we'll hit you up. That's never the case, because like we just have so many qualified leads in the first place. But the problem is that you're taking the calls of clients who run a business, but the business doesn't actually make any fucking money at all. So it's a complete and utter waste of time for you. Now, the problem with this is that you're on a sales call and you quote a very reasonable price for your services, like otherwise what it's actually worth. And this client over here who makes fucking $3,000 a month, $2,000 a month in their business is like, that's too expensive. And you hear this shit on like half your calls. So now it warps your mind to think, oh, I'm charging way too much money and I'm not actually worth what I'm worth, because all you're doing is talking to fucking poor people who can't afford anything at all. So everything is expensive to the poor person. Now, the problem with this is that then you get in the phone, you find yourself on the phone with some business, an actual real fucking business who's doing maybe $20,000, $50,000 per month or more, and then you quote some insanely low price, and they're either like, that's strangely too low, or they take the deal and you just got fucking swindled, and you for like a third of the price that you otherwise could have charged, right? So this is important. Your ability to filter out the poor people and not even expose your psyche to them at all. Like, you really just need to remove any kind of association, communication, or like literally any. They leak out the pores. They leak out into your psyche and they make you poor. You just fucking eliminate them. Just don't ever talk to them fucking at all. And the best way to do that is to have a Typeform filtering system, right? So you use a Typeform before your Calendly if there's inbound leads or you're doing ads. If you're doing outbound, if you're doing cold email, just don't outreach to poor people in the first place. So like if you're using something like ListKit to get leads, just select that you want them to have 11 employees or more. Like that's what you want. Just don't email the poor people. You see what I mean? So now the second thing is your ability to attract good businesses in the first place. So I want to quickly touch on this because people say the word attract and you're like, you don't just randomly fucking spawn clients by attracting them and they just come out of the ether from fucking nowhere. Like the word attract is what that actually means is that when you produce content or you produce case studies or you start making tweets, these algorithms are watching your video, transcribing your videos and reading your tweets and trying to serve it to the most qualified person that makes sense for. So if you're just talking about higher level stuff, it will attract the higher level people in the form that the algorithm will detect and match it to that person who generally consumes that type of stuff. That's how that works. So if you're talking profusely to beginners all the time, then it's just only going to algorithmically attract the beginner. So like when I say attract, that means you're actually fucking doing something. You see what I mean? Like you don't just like think about signing a good client and then just fucking spawn out of nowhere. That's not a thing, right? So now there are 3 ways to attract better clients, and it all has to do with increasing your perceived level of authority, right? Because imagine there's you right here, you're on this hand, and then you have a client right here on this hand. So in order for you to sign a client, the client has to perceive you, like say if it's cold email, they have to perceive your cold email ability as being either equal to them or you are higher. If you're trying to sign a client for like cold email lead gen and the client thinks that they know more than you at cold email, they're just not going to fucking pay you because they know more than you. Like your authority has to be either equal or higher to the client. So therefore, how do we do that? How do we make your authority in the specific area of expertise higher than the client? There are 3 ways to do this. And the first is producing useful content and posting it online. And I'm using the word useful specifically. This is very important. It's teaching people shit that they did not know before. Right? So me making this video right now is useful to everyone who wants to sign higher ticket clients. It's like you can do something with the information. It is of use to somebody. You need to do the same exact thing in your area of expertise, right? So you need to post this shit online. This invokes goodwill, right? The second way is it's going to sound dumb, but gaining followers. Like, yes, despite what you otherwise might think, like, oh, followers don't indicate expertise. Well, it definitely fucking indicates social proof, which is the largest determining factor of any human's action at all. Like, you know how your mom's like, if your friends jump off a bridge, are you going to jump off the bridge too? And the reality of the situation is that, yeah, fucking most people are going to actually jump off the bridge. Like, what do you... Like you're at the river or the lake with your friends, and I don't know, it's a summer afternoon when you were a kid, and there's like this bridge, and your friends are jumping off. It's so fun, and like, look, it's a big jump, and everyone's having fun. Everyone jumps off the bridge, and if you don't jump off the bridge, you're a pussy. You're like, oh, I'm not a pussy, so you jump off the bridge. Everyone jumps off the bridge. Literally everyone. Like every human on the planet jumps off the bridge. It's like 99% of people will jump the bridge. Therefore, this is why having followers is very important to increase your perceived level of authority, because if a shit ton of other people are following this guy, he must be saying something worth listening to, right? So therefore, you got to gain followers. And the way you gain followers is by being consistent and actually posting useful shit, which is the first thing we said. And this is the result of the... So the first thing is being useful. The second thing, the act of gaining followers, is achieved by the consistency of being useful. So you can't just be useful once. You have to be useful every fucking day, like every single day for months and years, continuously over and over and over again, right? So the next is case studies. This is the third way to increase your authority is case studies. This is also a form of social proof. You're showing that you are the person capable of delivering a quantifiable result. And you typically want to put this on your YouTube, your LinkedIn. Like you want a video of this and you want a quantifiable result. It can't be a testimonial where it's like, we loved working with him. Nobody gives a fuck. It has to say a specific quantifiable result that was achieved. Like if you go to clientascension.com and then you put your info in there and then you get to my VSL page, I'll put the link to it in the description. There are a absolutely shit ton of case studies. That's the kind of case studies you need. That's what you need to do, right? So I want to show you, I want to share my screen real quick, what a healthy lead flow looks like. So this is from a funnel I'm running. And this was 997 people. And 29% of them make less than $3,000 per month. And then normally like people were like 5K a month or more buy. So it's about like, it's around 50% of people are qualified on this funnel. Now and this, take note, is that this is the lead distribution for having maxed out all of those three variables I just spoke about earlier. So a shit ton of useful content online, a lot of followers. I have like 140 something thousand on Twitter. I think 22,000 on YouTube now. A couple more thousand on LinkedIn. Like there's a lot, and then a lot of case studies, and still only 50% of them are qualified, right? So if you don't have a ton of useful content like me, or a bunch of followers like me, or a bunch of case studies like me, the number of 50% qualified actually goes down to like it's probably like 20%. Now I wrote some numbers here. So if you're selling something that's like 3K a month and all of your leads you're getting are making less than 10K per month, you can see how that's an issue. So like generally, if you're selling something that's like 1.5K a month, like $1,500 a month, you can generally sell it to people who are at like 5K, 6K a month or more. Right? Now, the problem here is like a lot of people, they'll charge around like 3K. So you're charging 3K a month, and then you can't really sell a 3K a month service to people making less than 15K a month. Now, the problem with this is that if we go back to that lead distribution, there's not a lot of people in that lead distribution making 15K per month or more. It's like fucking 30%. So if we then assume that you don't have all the previous variables, the authority variables we talked about, it's gonna be like 15% for you. Like only 15% of the people you talk to are gonna be qualified. So now for simplicity's sake, let's say that just 20% of your leads are going to be qualified for whatever price you're charging right now, whatever authority level that you exist, right? So for every 100 leads you get into your pipeline, only 20 of them are people who could even afford and are capable of starting at all. Now, let's say, because you're kind of a beginner, you're not doing too much, that you're getting 20 leads in a month. And if you have a 20% qualified rate, that's 4 leads that are qualified that you get in an entire fucking month. So now the problem with this is that you're operating on a severely high scarcity mindset because there are only 4 people even capable of purchasing your thing at all. Like in an entire month, there are only 4 people who would ever even be able to afford your thing in the first place. So now I need you to understand something that is way more important. It's so important that people just don't get this. They think that you're running a company and the work is like doing the client work. Like if I'm growing a company, like all I need to do is just be doing a good job for the clients and then new clients will come. Except that's not fucking true. It's not true at all. It's not even remotely close to true. In fact, I'm not even kidding. 85% of everything you need to be doing as the owner of a business is getting more traffic. You need more traffic. You need more leads. That's it. It's 85% of the operation of a company at all. That is the entire thing. 85%. It's getting more leads. So let's say you're like an e-commerce email marketing agency. You think you're in the business of doing e-commerce email marketing. You are actually in the business of doing cold outreach to contact new clients, making content online to build followers and building a personal brand, making ad funnels and making new ad creatives to get new qualified leads, right? Doing follow-up, doing sales calls. That is 85% of what you do. It's 15% of what you're doing is the email marketing of e-commerce brands. 85% of what you do has fucking nothing at all to do with e-commerce email marketing. And this is the same for every single business. So it's very interesting to me that people think, well, if I just do this business, or if I just do this business, or if I just switch my offer to this, or switch my offer to this, everything's going to be so much easier. But what they don't realize is that if you are running any agency or any B2B company at all, actually, 85% of every single fucking one of them is the exact same thing. It's getting more leads, doing marketing, creating content, doing sales calls, doing follow-up, all of that. It's 85% of everything. So it's very interesting to me. Like I'll get people sometimes, they'll come into Client Ascension and they're like, hey, I need a case study of you doing it for this exact specific kind of business. And only if you can produce a case study showing me that you got results for someone running the exact fucking same business as me, like to the absolute T, like every single intricacy, only then am I going to do it. They don't realize that it doesn't fucking matter how unique they think they are. It's 85% the same shit over and over and over again for every single agency and B2B company on the entire fucking planet. All of it is the same because there are only 3 ways to get clients at all anyway. Content marketing, cold outreach, ads. That's it. There's no other way to do it. Therefore, if you just fucking do those 3 and just max them out to turbo hyper efficiency, like if you just do that, there's no fucking way the company doesn't at least grow a little bit. And if you want me to teach you how to do that shit inside of your business, you should go to the description below, clientascension.com. I'll pin it in the comments too, and you should join there. And you can watch this video right here. I love you. Leave a comment if you have any questions. Peace.